So, Destined Rivals booster boxes seemingly have dipped and sort of bottomed out at 265. We're getting pretty close here now to the official release date. We are about, 12 days away from the release date. So, we're just under 2 weeks now from the set being released, which is pretty exciting because we are really going to see what happens with the Destined Rivals market, the most hyped up main set. We'll see what happens. Now, pre-releases are actually happening. I've seen some posts of people opening up some cards, opening and pulling some nice stuff. So there are some sales of those cards on eBay. There's very few because they're just probably from pre-releases. So there's not much out there. So the prices you're seeing now could possibly be heavily inflated. So just be wary when we see those prices that that's not indicative of what they're actually going to be at. But there are some pretty insane prices out there for some of the cards, and yeah, I do think these will obviously go down as the set gets released. But it's pretty crazy how expensive some of these are selling for. But I do want to show you guys the booster box here first because we are seeing prices I guess sort of just stabilize here at 265. But on eBay, there's a deal for Destined Rivals booster boxes that's a good amount cheaper than lowest listed or market price. And maybe this is some indication we may see prices dip possibly even further if we're seeing some of these listings on eBay, booster boxes being cheaper than TCG Player. When the set comes out, you could just imagine more people will list. Possibly prices may go down even further than where they're at currently on TCG Player at 265. Now, if you see here, you can see it's been pretty consistent in the past few weeks. Around this price point, sales volume has been pretty consistent. Obviously, on the TCG Player sale day, 390 of these boxes sold, and the day before, the day after, 107 boxes sold. So still very strong sales volume. So yeah, these are still selling a lot at this price point. So it shows there still is a fair amount of people who think that this box is worth this price at 265. Now, if you look at the amount of supply in the market, there's a bunch here. I don't think this is going to go up. I think this is going to stay exactly where it's at, possibly even dip a little bit lower by the time the set is actually released. So I don't think prices are really going to go anywhere. So it seems like around this price point is where they've stabilized at before the set gets released. So we'll see what happens to prices after the set gets released. But this is where they're at right now. But like I said, if you go on eBay, there are some listings from big reputable sellers for under TCG Player market price, and it's none other than Pete Football. You can see here they're selling Destined Rivals booster boxes at $240 with free shipping. So this is what, $25 under TCG Player market price, which $25 is a pretty good amount. Or is that 10% off? That's pretty good, and you're getting obviously from a reputable seller. So, seen, and there's not just this listing. There's also some other sellers selling them for around 245, 250. But this was the cheapest one. Possibly prices may go down even further, seeing that they're listing it this cheap. And like I said, as the set comes out, more people will list. Just looking at the direction of how this is going, I could see prices going down in the lower 200s. But I think a huge factor that will play into the booster box prices will be how expensive the cards, the top chases are in the set, and how hard it is to pull those cards. And obviously, you take into consideration, condition of cards, the print quality. That's going to definitely play a big factor with these prices of the booster boxes, whether they continue to drop or maybe after a few weeks the set is released, we see an increase in price. Because I've noticed with these past releases, with Journey, Prismatic, and Surging, it's about 2 to 3 weeks after the set's released where you can pretty much predict where prices are going to go. For example, Journeys Together, a couple weeks after being released, they continue to drop. What happened after? They continue to drop. Prismatic, 2 weeks after being released, what happened? Prices went up. They kept going up. Obviously, they've gotten restocked recently, so prices have gone down. They're starting to move up back up a little bit, but they were moving up after 2 weeks from going down. Surging Sparks, a couple weeks after the set was released, what happened? Prices were going up. They were 160, and then they kept going up into the mid 200s. So I think Destined Rivals here, the first couple of weeks will really be a huge indication if this will get cheaper or if this will get more expensive. It really, in my opinion, is dependent on the pull rates, obviously, the price, prices of the cards, condition of cards, the print quality. If the print quality is bad, pull rates are harder. We may see some pretty expensive booster boxes, but at least for right now, we are in the down, the direction of prices going down, because we have just continuously, since this, these booster boxes of Destined Rivals have been available for pre-order, they've consistently gone down since they were first available, right? They started out at like $400, and since then they've just gone down, which has sort of been the opposite of what we've seen previously, like Surging, Prismatic, Journey. Prices all continue to go up before being released, but Destined Rivals, being the most hyped up main set, has done the complete opposite. Obviously, it started off at a lot higher price, which is why that's happened, but it is worth noting that this set has continued to go down, and now we have the cheapest listing on eBay at $240, which, if you think about, is kind of crazy, because this is really not too far off from where Journey Together was at release. So we're seeing Destined Rivals basically at the same price as Journey Together was, which is, I think, kind of crazy. So I want to show you guys just a few of the sales we've gotten here. There's very little sales for the English Destined Rivals cards, but I just wanted to show you guys what the top cards have been selling for. So I've just picked the top like SIRs, the chases, just to show you guys what they have sold for. Like I said, these are from pre-releases. This is still very early on to really know what the prices will be, because there's just very few sales to go off of, but it is kind of interesting to see what these have sold for. So you can see some people seemingly are at a table where possibly they're at the pre-release event, but you can see the Team Rockets Mewtwo, which is obviously the top chase card in the set that some people don't like and are disappointed with the artwork. Well, there's been two sales at $850, which is almost $1,000, which is kind of crazy. So there's that for you. Will prices go down? Possibly. But it is interesting that they have sold for this amount. Next here we have Ethan's Ho-Oh, another top chase. We can see here one has sold for $350, and I believe that was the only English one I was able to find. There's really not that many sales of these. Everything else is Japanese, so just one of those. Next here, Cynthia's Garchomp, another top chase. They've sold for $350, $250, and was that the last one? No, there's one more here. $300. Was there another one, or was that it? This is Japanese. I think that might have been it. So they've been selling for around $300. Now next here, Team Rocket's Moltres, $350. This is $125, but it's like suspiciously low. Then we have another here for $300, so it's probably around $300. And I couldn't find any more sales after that one. So I just want to show you guys that prices for booster boxes have continued to drop. Now you can buy them for as low as $240, but the card prices are very high. Like I said, it's still pretty early to tell where prices of the cards are going to be, because it's literally the first like day or two of pre-releases or whatever. So they will probably continue to drop, but if they don't and they somehow are stabilized or around this price, like this set is seemingly going to be very expensive, and it's probably going to be the most expensive main set in the Scarlet and Violet era. I don't know exactly at this point which is the most expensive main set from Scarlet and Violet. I don't know if it's Twilight. I don't know if it's Surging. I don't know if it's Paldea. I don't know which set is the most expensive main set. But Team Rocket, just looking at these prices here, I know there's barely any sales, but it's probably going to be the most expensive main set by a large margin. So just want to show you guys these prices for Destined Rivals. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know down in the comments below if you guys have gone to any pre-release events. If you pulled anything good, let me know down in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.